seems like there are some of them, not just taxis, but private-owned businesses burning up in flames. Now, this is where they had actually told us to turn back or to switch off the cameras.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. TMW here, and today we're going to talk about the crisis in South Africa. And I really wanted to avoid this, but it's everywhere and the situation has turned from bad to worse, so I have to give my own 2 cents.
Look, it's a diversion from the real crisis, but it is also a reflection of a very deep crisis that the working class is finding itself in. It's diversion in that instead of those people coming to reinforce us here, to march against job losses in the post office that have absolutely nothing to do with migration, but everything to do with the wrong policy choices of the government, of commercialization, privatization, of corruption.
There is a moment in every society when the people who are suffering from a broken system stop asking questions and start looking for someone to blame. And in South Africa, that moment has turned into something far more dangerous. Fire. Fire not just in the buildings burning, but fire within the people. Neighbors turning on neighbors, communities collapsing from within. But here's the real question. Why? Why does this always happen? South Africa is called the Rainbow Nation, a country that overcame one of the darkest systems in modern day history, apartheid, a symbol of unity, of resilience, of hope. But beneath that image, there is a tension that keeps resurfacing. Violence against immigrants, looting, fear. This is xenophobia, not just fear of foreigners, but anger, frustration, and sometimes hatred. Let's strip this down to the truth. South Africa has one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Millions are struggling just to survive. Now imagine waking up every day with no job, no income, no opportunity. Frustration builds up, and frustration always looks for a target. Foreign nationals becomes the target. They are taking our jobs, they are taking our businesses, but that's not the full story. Many immigrants don't take jobs, they create them. Small shops, small businesses, services. They enter spaces others have abandoned. So the real problem isn't people, it's the system.
Look, it's a diversion from the real crisis, but it is also a reflection of a very deep crisis that the working class is finding itself in. It's diversion in that instead of those people coming to reinforce us here, to march against job losses in the post office that have absolutely nothing to do with migration, but everything to do with the wrong policy choices of the government, of commercialization, privatization, of corruption, of neglect. And they are not here to march against the real enemy of the working class. They are turning their anger against other vulnerable workers elsewhere who are as vulnerable as they are. They are scapegoating the crisis of capitalism, of neoliberalism and austerity program to the new enemies of the migrants. They walk past white companies, they walk past any other person's companies. They are targeting only black people. And in the process, they beat up people from Limpopo. They accuse them of being migrants. They don't care whether those people are here legally or illegally. Anybody who can't speak a particular language from a particular province in a particular region gets beaten up. We can't associate ourselves with that. Instead, we're calling on workers to unite behind their real issue. The real issue is that we are losing the post office. And post office will not be able to provide services to all the rural people in the country. That's the real enemy. The real enemy is that we have 12.4 million people who are unemployed in this economy. And that have nothing to do with migration program. It has everything to do with wrong policy choices that have been pursued by the government. There are 10 million people who have been unemployed in South Africa for more than 1 year. 62% of the young people of this country are unemployed. Our education system is failing. Our healthcare system is failing. Our criminal justice system is failing. We pick up 64 bodies every day on average in the streets of South Africa. That has absolutely nothing to do with your migration program. They are diverting problems that we are facing as the working class into the shoulders of the people who have absolutely nothing to do with the real crisis. Yes, there is migration. Yes, there are some intolerable acts of criminality, including by the migrants in South Africa. We must isolate those. We must get those people arrested. But we cannot generalize and say all Xhosas are a problem. All Zulus are the problem. All Tswanas, all migrants are the problem. Whether they are here legally or illegally, all of them they are problem. Because this thing of illegal migrant is actually a dishonest campaign. Their target is not illegal migrants. Their target is all migrants. They're telling them, even the people who have political asylum in South Africa, they are telling them that Naba. That's not a honest campaign. This is xenophobia in its purest form, and all of the progressive people must reject this campaign.
Let me answer you then.
Who's the camps I can go to?
Okay.
Which country do you come from?
I'm from Congo.
Congo.
You're from Congo. What is the nearest country to Congo? If you're seeking refuge in South Africa, because according to foreign policy,
you're supposed
you
to go
must
to
migrate to them.
You're
So
supposed
you
to
cannot
go to
come to
Ghana.
South Africa, seek refuge in a wrong country
Africa's
and
not the
ask
nearest.
us silly questions, ma'am.
No, the government. The government. will
Which
provide-
government?
The government.
Which
will provide-
government? Which government you're
My
talking
guy,
about?
let me tell you something.
Which government?
Shh, keep quiet. We don't have time to reason with foreigners. Leave, my guy.
Let's
Leave.
go, ma'am.
No.
Let's go, ma'am.
Shush. Leave. Leave.
Let's go.
We don't reason with foreigners. We don't want to reason.
You ran away from your problems. You came here.
Let's
to
go, yeah,
the
let's go,
government. You
yeah.
have your own government. Go vote there.
We are not going to stop. We are not going to tone down the heat. We are going to intensify.
When you get well, when you get on that hospital bed, just look at it. Next time when you come, when you want services,
There won't be a
you
next
check
time.
up.
There won't
You
be a
want check
next
up,
time.
You must go to a private clinic or a private hospital. When you get well from our hospital bed, do not come back here. Here, we only allow South Africans only. All hospitals, all public hospitals in KZN, all public clinics in KZN are for South Africans only. Do not ever come back here when you get
In
well.
addition to that, my good doctors, After you release these people, you can write them their scripts, but they're not going to use our pharmacy. They must get their medication from private hospitals or from pharmacies, registered pharmacies. No one will get any medication from our hospital if you know that you're not a South African citizen.
The whole of South Africa, it's a crime scene, and we are on the verge of war. It's either the government do the right things, and all the patriots, please, let's fight for our country, because we are on the verge of losing our country.
I guess everything is clear. And my good doctors and good nurses, from now onward, you are not going to see anyone, whether they have asylum permit or whatever. Anyone who does not produce a 13-digit ID that ends
Fixing this continent. This thing of you guys moving from one country to the other, it's no longer working. We don't want this as African people anymore. We are tired of seeing African migrants moving all over the world, refusing to fix your own countries. Now we're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here. We want you to fix your countries. Now you came here with a traveling document. You came with a passport. You know that you are a visitor, but now you decided to come and integrate in our communities. You know very well that what you have done is wrong.
How many children do you have here?
We can come to Ghana and do what you're doing.
Passport.
Eh? Now you are carrying a bucket. It's 11 a.m. You were supposed to be fighting the government of Ghana there to ensure that they are getting things right.
No, there's no fight in Ghana. You must fight what they do.
Where's your papers?
Passport.
Passport.
What's the passport?
Take it out. Baba.
Let me see your passport. Let me see. Luna. Okay, tell me, who's the police officer that you are bribing to certify these things for you?
I'm blind.
Baba, let me tell you, I'm not
Check the
foolish.
date.
These things, let me tell you, you know by law you're not supposed to certify as an immigrant. You're not allowed to certify your passport.
No.
Okay, why do you certify your passport in a foreign land?
Okay.
Let's just start there. Why do you certify your passport in a foreign land?
You see, it was raining.
I follow you guys now on Facebook. How you?
It was raining these days. Then when you go out with the passport, sometimes it gets spoiled. That is why I satisfy it so that it won't spoil.
Baba, Ghana don't do that.
Okay.
Ghana don't do that.
All right, sharp.
Ghana
Let me
is the
show you.
only African country that is.
Let me show you that when you are abusing our systems, on the 10th of April, okay, the 10th of April, you entered your country when. The very same day you came back when it's a proof. Proof. Yes, the proof.
That crocodile can't go.
You went to Ghana on the 10th, and then you came back.
No,
because here it says you exited Ghana to South Africa. When here it says you entered, here you exited, and it's the same date. It's the 10th of April. 10th of April.
This stamp you got there in Elof Street on the street. This is where you got the stamp. Oh, they've got a connection here.
No.
I am telling you, that's where they buy it from.
Behind every statistic is a person, a man who fled conflict in Zimbabwe, only to lose everything again in Johannesburg. A Somali shopkeeper who built his business from nothing, burnt down overnight. A Nigerian worker who crossed borders for hope, now running for his life. They aren't just foreigners, they are survivors, dreamers, people chasing the same thing everyone wants. A chance.
The warm welcome I have received from the government and the people of Nigeria on the basis of this crowd here. On my way from the airport, I was met by thousands of cheering Nigerians, which convinced me that I was not only among friends, but I had come home. I was lost here in Nigeria in April 1962. Equally important, as you know, I have been in prison for 27 years.
many governments, many organizations, many individuals called for my release. Loudest in that call was the government and people of Nigeria. I am here of the government and people of Nigeria. Nigeria has given us a lot of financial and material support. They have assisted us not only in the form of funds, and in that respect, they have been among the most generous donors to our coffers. They have also assisted us in the form of teachers, doctors, architects, and they have given scholarships to our children to study in the universities of this country.
Here is something we don't talk about enough. During apartheid, many South Africans fled to other African countries. Countries like Zambia, Tanzania, Nigeria. They opened their doors. They gave shelter, support, safety. Now ask yourself, what changed? Have we forgotten?
Our government sees that these people, they are overdoing things in us, because it's years we were complaining as leaders to say we are sick and tired of what is happening. Our children are dying. If a man loves you, he must take you back where he's coming from. We cannot marry a man from Nigeria to be my husband in South Africa. If he loves me, take me to Nigeria, wherever. Let them go with their wife, with their kids. That will be fine for us.
Leadership matters. When leaders stay silent, violence grows louder. When they speak carelessly, division spreads faster.
I mean, we've lived with people from outside of Africa for 32 years, in millions and millions of them. But if you walk right down the road, you'll find that they now are taking over buildings. There's prostitution, there's drugs, there's cartels, there's mafias. Everything in this country is a fertile ground for criminals to thrive. So we're not getting the best of the best when it comes to immigrants. We're getting those immigrants who are running away from their countries because they know that they're criminal elements, and our government is just letting them be because they want to paint them as victims. They're not victims.
Cinda, how are you determining that these are illegal foreigners? Because I mean, we know that already last week General Mkhwanazi did say that there needs to be a way to verify, but how do you verify?
Well, it's not our job to verify, but when we're marching, when we're doing operations, there's always the police. It's their job to ask people for their papers, and if they don't have papers, then obviously they're illegal. And we've had a number of people, every single place that we go that is a hub for foreigners, there's tons of illegal. Very few of these people are documented, actually. Very, very few. And the ones that are documented are not behaving and carrying themselves in this manner that these that are not documented are. And that is the problem that we have today.
The media plays a big role too. When the crime is constantly linked to foreigners, without context, it builds a narrative, and narratives shape reality. Fear becomes belief, belief becomes action.
Go back to your countries, we are tired of you guys! Go back to your countries and this nonsense! You destroy your country! You come to South Africa to destroy your country!
We know you, the media, are trying to label us as xenophobic, as if we're hating other Africans. We love our fellow brothers. We know their contribution to our struggle as South Africans. We know that they all contributed, but we are saying migration must be lawful. Document everybody.
What are you saying, ma'am?
I didn't say anything. They said we must go back to your country. That to be the transport or go back.
Xenophobia isn't just economic, it's psychological. When people feel powerless, they look for control. And one way to feel powerful is to push someone else down. It's not about who immigrants are, it's about what they represent: competition, change, uncertainty.
To those who are here legally, respect us as South Africans, respect our laws, respect our conventions and our traditions, as you would want us to respect the laws and traditions of your own country. As a nation that defeated colonialism and apartheid through international solidarity, we carry a responsibility to advance constitutional values beyond our borders. So we then therefore say, yes, let us allow our laws to take their course. We have already set in place the way in which we will be able to deal with those who are in our country illegally. We remain committed to multilateralism, to respect for international law and principled diplomacy. International law was born from the devastation of global conflict. It is a shield for all countries in the world, regardless of their size or influence. True multilateralism demands respect for diversity while remaining firm in the core principles of sovereignty, of human rights, of freedom, of accountability, and peaceful coexistence.
So, how do we fix this? Not with slogans, not with silence, but with the truth. Fix inequality, create opportunity, address corruption, and most importantly, change the narrative. Because when people see each other as human, violence becomes harder to justify.
These people fled from their countries because of the political climate, whatever it is. We don't necessarily know what makes anyone pack their bags and come to South Africa, but it is always for a political reason, although of course we have lots of criminals who also take advantage of that fact. It becomes a problem to actually make pronouncements and say that it is all okay. It's not. We seem to need to go back to the drawing board on a lot of issues, especially such as the porous borders we have in South Africa. How do we control this type of flooding the country with foreigners?
At its core, xenophobia asks one question: who belongs? But maybe we've been asking the wrong question. Maybe the real question is, What kind of society are we building? One driven by fear, or one built on understanding? Because in the end, a nation is not defined by who it rejects, but by who it protects. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. See you on the next video.